JP Morosi writes, the Giants, 2-5 since the All-Star break. Yeah, JP, thanks, don't remind me. Have indicated to teams that they are willing to trade some of their veteran players. One possible scenario, they could move an outfielder, Michael Conforto or Mike Yastrzemski, to open up playing time for Luis Matos.
Okay. It's exciting.
Is it?
It is, because they need to, like, if you're going to do something, a sell of Blake Snell, a Snell sell, so to speak. It was hard for me to get through it. It's a Friday. That would be more of a white flag wave to me. But a Conforto, you want to sell Conforto and get, somebody's 11th rated prospect, or maybe the 8th prospect and the 23rd prospect. Go ahead. I don't know if Conforto is going to be the difference between you winning the World Series or not making the playoffs.
No, you know what he's going to be the difference between? Paying the tax or not. This is a very concerning tweet for multiple reasons. Not because I don't want the Giants to sell, because this is an example of exactly what I'm talking about. Stick your feet on both sides of the fence and don't really declare anything. Selling Michael Conforto is only going to save you a little bit of money. And if you were really so committed to opening up playtime for Luis Matos, I don't think that you would have acquired someone named Derek from the Rangers 3 days ago and sent Matos to the minors so that Derek could come play. Like, I get that your response to that would be like, well, Mark, it's the Dodgers series, and we were like locked in, dialed in, all in, got to win these games. So, we brought up a major league ready player. I mean,
I like the player.
Yeah, it's Derek Hill. And you didn't do it until Luis had gone and messed up a fly ball in left center field to lose a game on Tuesday night. You didn't do it till then. Is your other answer going to be, well, we just don't have enough playing time for him up here, so we want to send him down so he can play every day? If that's what you're really committed to, commit to it. But this tweet right here shows me a commitment to nothing.
It's a commitment to save.
Save money.
Yep.
And feed me something that's not true. Oh, we really want Luis Matos. Then why do you keep sending him down? If you're so committed to giving him playing time, put him out there.
Right, play him. And this may be the way to do it, because Conforto's making $18 million, which means with a third of the year left, that's a $6 million savings that you could get if you traded him here in the next few days, because there's going to be 54 games left to go after Sunday, which is exactly 1/3 of the year. So if you make the deal after 4 more games, that's a third of the year. That means you pay him 12 and you save 6, and that helps you incrementally get a little bit closer to getting underneath that tax threshold, which is big, because the longer you're in there, the more you lose draft picks. And I know they already lost a couple of draft picks from this year from being over the tax, and so you don't want to be over the tax 2 years in a row, because then you lose 4 draft picks. And forget the extra money that you have to pay, because they're printing money down there. For me, it's more about losing draft picks and losing the ability to go out there and sign other free agents in the offseason.
What if I offered you this question? You want him to sell, right? Am I right? You want him to sell?
Yeah, just sell.
Just sell. Okay. So what if they did? What if the Giants did behind the scenes? And Giants fans, would you accept this? What if they really were like, okay, we are committed to doing the right thing long-term for the organization. This isn't going anywhere. There's this guy on 95.7 The Game who keeps talking about math, but we don't buy it. So
the math is there, but it's a long shot.
But we're selling. And next Tuesday, Matt Chapman plays for the Yankees and Blake Snell plays for the Red Sox. And Michael Conforto plays for the Guardians and all of that. There's no Conforto, there's no Yaz, there's no Doval, there's no Snell. Cobb is gone. There's
Chapman.
No Matt Chapman. And they've got shiny new minor leaguers, Dibs. Shiny new minor leaguers who people like. But you have to keep Farhan past this year, because he might say, well, I'm not doing that.
Unless you guarantee me that you don't fire me.
I'm not doing that. And quite frankly, like, just to understand the way it works behind the scenes, The ownership's not going to be like, I force you to do that. Like, no. No, Greg Johnson is not calling someone else's GM and pulling off a trade. These two sides do need one another in order to conduct business.
Right.
So
4 days till the deadline.
Farhan
business
says to Greg right now, like, I can save you some money, and we can. I could like, hey, Greg,
I can fix it.
I think the right thing to do now is to see if we can pull some young players who are really going to pop in the next couple of years. And Greg, let's be honest, it'll save you money. And oh, by the way, Greg, what happened this year? Yeah, not my fault. We wanted to spend, I did. You wanted a bopper, I got you Soler. You wanted a hot shot third baseman, I got you Chapman. You wanted someone the fans would enjoy and who would lock down center field defense, I got you Jung-Hoo Lee. And we needed a legit starting pitcher who could potentially be at the top of the rotation. And oh, by the way, I got you two. 1.5. Because one of them is only going to be there for half the year. But as he sits here today, they're both here. And they both pitched really well.
You might get one full year out of the two of them combined.
Maybe.
33 starts.
But Greg, I did everything you asked me to do. I did it. And I know that we thought that this should be a playoff team. But it's not going to be a playoff team. And right now, Greg, look, I know I'm taking bullets out there in the public, but Greg, this is the player's fault. But I can fix it and I can save you money. Do I have your promise that I won't be fired at the end of the year? Would you give me the vote of confidence? I'll go out and conduct this for you. What do you say?
I say thanks for coming by my office, but we're not going to be able to do that. And I think that you lay out a very interesting scenario, because if you do go into full sell mode, not quite a fire sale, but yeah, let's get below the tax and let's get prospects, not 18-year-old international prospects who will be ready in 2028, but real live AAA guys who they're ready.
Yeah.
They're either getting a cup of coffee now or they're on the way up and they're going to be here next year and they're going to be good. And, I can get you between 5 and 8 of these prospects, but we're going to have to sell 4 or 5 of these guys and we'll get below the tax and all the rest of it. I still don't think that would be good enough for Farhan to buy another year, because already the reports were he went to ownership last year in the offseason and said, look, it's me and Gabe together. We'll get Gabe to go and we'll bring in Bob Melvin. And you know what? We're going to spend this year and I can fix it. So he already had that sort of a mulligan year, and that was this year. And I do think that a lot of the things that have gone wrong are not his fault per se, but it doesn't matter, because in the court of public opinion and at the turnstiles and at the gate, if you do go into sell mode, if you go into fire sale mode, forget Conforto. If you trade Conforto for 2 prospects or whatever, that's not going to keep people from going to the park. But if you sell 4 or 5 guys, including Yaz, who's somebody that fans actually really like, and forget Logan Webb, he's not on the table, but if you trade Doval, Chapman, Snell, Yaz, Ray, Conforto, if you start trading off a lot of pieces, that's going to hurt you at the gate. And it's going to hurt you on the field.
Well, that's the interesting thing. That's what I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't want either one of us to make it sound like the court of public opinion is going to make this decision. I really don't think that that's the case. But, man, there's a chasm here, And I always, you and I have talked about this a lot lately, the echo chamber in which we live. Like Giants fans, maybe we could actually kind of throw this out there. Are you like mad or are you really mad? Like, how would you describe your own emotions right now? Because the one thing this year that doesn't make sense to me is that what I hear from Giants fans does not match what I see at the ballpark. Except for one way. The only time it matches is like when the Dodgers are in town and there's a bunch of people wearing the wrong uniform over at the stadium. But outside of that, you sound furious. But you've got tickets and you're going, and the building is more full, and the building is really like relatively full. It's not 2009 over there, but the building looks pretty good.
It's the same as 2019. basically, on average attendance, which
pre-COVID.
That was the last year pre-COVID, and that was the lowest attendance by average that we have seen at Oracle Park.
It's also right as Farhan was essentially arriving and getting his feet settled.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was where, the team was coming off a 73 and 89 year. They went 77 and 85. It felt like the roster wasn't that good. You were trying to phase out the Brandons and the older guys, and the young guys weren't yet here. It was a little bit of a tweener time. And yet, you're right. This team does feel like fans are more angry, but fans are showing up at a higher clip than last year.
Right, so
attendance is up almost 10% year over year. So you're mad, but you're showing up more often. And I do think that when you see fans going to the game, they're engaged, they're having fun, games are quicker, attendance is up. Yet, when we talk to fans, and I know, you talk to fans off the air, and I have friends who are fans and whatnot, and it feels like there's more frustration.
Yeah.
And a lot of the frustration that I hear for the people I talk to, it's centered around one man.
Yeah, for sure. It is different over at the ballpark, and maybe that's not fair because if we're comparing it to 2010 and 11 and 12, and it's not fair. But like the fans are there, but you said they're engaged. I don't think they're disengaged, but there's no fire. There isn't that 10 years ago, it felt like we're here, we're in the building, and we would like to see a win.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like we're here, and we're in the building, and we would like popcorn. Because this is fun. We've had a beautiful summer.
It's been great.
The weather's been incredible.
Yeah.
So it's a great place to spend a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. And it's fun. That's kind of the way I look at it. But I don't feel an engagement from fans like we are in the building and let's freaking go. Where's the LFG in the fan base at the Yard? I do see that difference. Doesn't feel the same.
It doesn't, and I don't know how you can get it back to that. And I think about the years before they won the World Series. It was post-Bonds, pre-2010, and I'm looking at the numbers. 2008, they drew 35,000 fans. 2009, you drew 35,000 fans. 2010, you only drew 37,500 because you didn't know what was going to come, and then you won the World Series.
Yeah,
and then after that,
it didn't pop till September.
Correct.
They were way behind the Padres.
Yeah, they brought up Buster, and it's like, who is this Gerald Posey guy? He looks pretty good. And then they went on that run. They traded Molina, and the rest was history. But the years after that, they drew 41, 41, 41, 41, 41, 41, and they won 3 World Series. But since then, we're back now almost down to 2008 levels, where the team was, in 2008, they were 72 and 90, and they still drew 35,000 fans, which is no small peanuts, but they were coming off of 4 straight losing years. They were bad.
Is that where we're at this year? The average is 35?
33.7 is where we are.
33.7, okay. And what was it last year?
30,800 last year.
Oof.
It's up 10%.
Yeah.
But last year, and the year before actually was a little bit lower, but I think last year was the first real year where you could look and say, truly post-COVID.
Yeah, but see, Greg wants to know not where it's at this year, but where does it look like it's going to go next year? And that's what I think that's his concern.
Of course.
His concern right now, because there's the bump, but then if you go out there and you win 75 games, how are you going to re-energize this fan base next year? And where would there was optimism at the beginning of the year. They spent money. There were names on the way. I think rational human beings thought that the Giants would win more games than they would lose. I don't know about beat the Dodgers. That sounds a little much, but compete and be in this thing.
Yeah, the over-under, I think, on win total was 82.
Yeah.
81.5 or 82, which is
a winning record.
Right, a tick above 500.
Yeah.
And it feels like, they could still get there, but if you do go 82 and 80 and you don't make the playoffs, you miss out on the wild card by, let's call it 3 games, because I think 85 will get it done. If you go 82 and 80, forget buy or sell at the deadline. If you do neither and you just ride this baby out and you go 82 and 80, that is just woefully not good enough.
That's kind of a nauseating reality that you're talking about here, because if they do go 82 and 80, they can spin to the pub. Oh, look, but we're on the come. I know that this wasn't what you expected, but boy, in August and September, we figured it out.
We finished 33-25.
Yeah. And
over our last 58.
Arrow up. Huh? Right?
Yeah.
Oof.
And he stays. Yeah, exactly.
Jonathan and San Leandro. Hey, Jonathan, thank you for calling.
I almost attempted to hit you guys with the O. But anyways, how are you guys doing? Happy Friday.
Doing great,
I was going to wait. I was waiting for the All-Star break because I was really hopeful like others for this season. And I got to give it to you guys on this Friday. Giants baseball, you stink. And I don't know who to point the finger at, just like you guys do, because, it's like, Farhan does have some good points. But one thing I do see are patterns. And I don't know who is at fault, but we had Bryce Harper. He came, and I guess, it wasn't his hottest season, or he was coming off a bad season, if I'm correct. But he came, and he just didn't seem happy in the end. Jacques Peterson, towards the end, not happy. It just kind of starts to see this pattern where you get people like Chapman, and I don't want that to happen, where you have a lot of people excited having Matt Chapman back and, not performing as, he was on the Oakland Athletics, has people talking. And again, like I said, boys, I just kind of start seeing this pattern. And as a Sharks fan, I've kind of seen this before and had to get used to this. And I just kind of think, too, what your guys' thoughts are. The Giants are like this. The Warriors fans, you guys might have to start getting ready for some of these results as well. Hopefully not, but it just kind of seems, again, patterns. This is how things go in the sports world.
Well, sometimes. Jonathan, thanks. I don't know. I don't think the Warriors are anywhere near that because the Warriors' leadership does not appear to be disconnected from its players and its fan base. There's a difference to me between, did you win? Are we good in the standings? Versus we're not good in the standings. It's not good enough. And, oh, by the way, two sides are looking at one another going, dude, you don't know what you're doing. And we need to do this a different way. Here's kind of the way I would lay it out as far as what I think is the Giants within the baseball landscape, because they have been known for a long time as a big brand and a place where players want to play. And I think I hear a lot of people now say that's not true anymore. And I want to split the apple in half here, because one thing I can promise you, people who are within the organization think that the Giants are a classy organization. They feel treated well. That's different, though. That's different than, and oh, by the way, they really also know what they're doing. There's two aspects to this. What the Giants continue to do well is the way they treat a player's family, or the assets that is created, and the facilities, and all of that stuff. The Giants have no problems there. But what has happened is around the league, the Giants have completely lost their mojo. They've lost their cool factor, and teams are looking at them, and there's a couple things that really ding them, which is, one, there is the vibe from players. The front office does not really know what they're doing, and the most important one, we're not sure if we can trust them. I got this buddy Ross. He played for the Giants last year. They told him he was going to start. Stuck that guy out in the bullpen. I got another buddy, Michael. Michael was told he was going to be the starting right fielder. They gave him $18 million to go be the starting right fielder. Then they platooned his butt. Can you believe that? Hun, we're not going there. And then the team's over here going, well, the Tenderloin and Triples Alley, am I right? No, you're not right.
I got this buddy Jock who hits a home run and then gets pinch hit for in the fourth inning.
Right. Although he might have liked that. He could go play cards earlier.
Totally, a little Pusoy dose.
Yeah, that to me, does that make sense, the two separate things? It's not that the Giants are not, quote, a bad organization by any stretch, but they have lost, they've lost their mojo. And I do think players look at them and go, I'm not sure if I trust what's going on there. From a baseball standpoint.
Absolutely. And if you're a free agent and you're a free agent hitter and you are looking at a destination where you can go and play and do well and put up numbers. Already, you're getting strike one from the Giants, maybe strike two, because as a hitter, it's not an easy place to hit. So why would you come to San Francisco? Well, they're a team that is really good at winning, and they win all the time. Well, you're not doing that either. So as a hitter, you can't hit there, and you're not necessarily going to win there. And then you add in California sales tax, which is at about 18%, and you add in a city that maybe doesn't fit exactly what you're trying to do, either demographically or politically. There's a number of things that you could look at and say, that's not really as attractive as, I don't know, L.A., I'm Teoscar Hernandez, and I'm a free agent, and I can come to San Francisco, or I can go to L.A. and hit seventh and be in the greatest lineup in baseball in a more friendly hitter's park.
Mom, did you hear what they did to Hayden? Who's Hayden? Oh, Mom, I played
Hayden?
I played a
USC?
I played a double-A a couple of years ago with this kid Hayden. He's a really, really good pitcher. Really good pitcher. Well, they called him up recently, and he's doing really well. Mom, he went to Coors Field, and he struck out 12 batters in 6 innings. He's only 22 years old. I'm really excited for him. But somehow he ended up in San Jose the next day in a single-A clubhouse. That was his reward.
I've been in that clubhouse. It's kind of nice.
It's a nice clubhouse.
A couple of card tables and some metal benches.
Matt in Novato. Hi, Matt. What are you doing?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
Good. Hey, listen, so I was just calling to kind of talk a little bit about Farhan and my sort of when I lost, not necessarily respect, but when I kind of started to doubt what he was doing. Just comparing him to Sabian and just his lack of activity in the trade market in over the last few years when they've been in positions to contend and he just really nothing happening, right? So last year they're basically in the same position that they were in 2010 when they were chasing, last year they were chasing the Dodgers, 2010 they were chasing the Padres. And, Sabian's, out there trading a bunch of players. Like he gets Pat Burrell, he trades Molina for Chris Ray. He gets Ramon Ramirez for, Daniel Turpin. He gets Javier Lopez for John Balker, Joe Martinez. Those are kind of controversial trades, and they were really big, important pieces to them contending to get to the World Series that year. And, Farhan's just not doing anything like that,
Well, it's a completely different process. It's a completely different process that's being used right now, Matt. And by the way, that's what got him hired. At the time, the Giants looked at the landscape and the rise of analytics around baseball and felt like they were falling behind. So that's why they went to someone who was really going to be at the, quote, cutting edge of analytics. Unfortunately, it's in many ways kind of like the 49ers hitching their wagon to Colin Kaepernick. Oh, the read option's going to take over the league. Well, maybe not. Doesn't mean Colin's a bad quarterback, and it doesn't mean all of Farhan's deals are wrong. But I think they hitched their wagon to something that didn't end up being what they thought it was going to be.
Well, I think they hitched their wagon to the promise of what could be, and when you were unable to get Aaron Judge and unable to get Ohtani, you didn't get Bryce Harper. You had Correa, but then you let him go, and all the rest of the Yamamoto and the other free agents that you went after, and you couldn't get them, and you had to settle for more of a B list of free agents, and some have worked out, some have not worked out. The young guys that you thought were going to come up last year are finally here, so all the things that he said that he was going to do, it kind of has happened, but it hasn't led to where you're a winning team and a team that's a playoff team.
Yeah, it